Looks like we got a couple people in the live feed. Okay, we'll get that going. And then I am going to go over here to make sure that this is working. All right, yeah, it does look like we are live on YouTube 134. All right, you guys, Matt, Jose, you guys ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Yep, which means probably not.
Nope.
Okay. All right, Mark, you ready?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and then we'll count down and get started. 3, 2,
Perfect.
1. Hey, everybody, we are live on YouTube, and we are joined tonight by Mark Garcia. We have him on the phone. He is from Life of an Adventurer. How are you doing tonight, Mark?
I'm doing real well. How about you guys?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Just a little bit of background. When we did the Mountain Hatch meet and greet 2 to 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, whatever that was, we ran into you there, and you and I had a little bit of a conversation, and you started to tell me about what it was you were doing, and it was really interesting, and you've got some stuff coming up, so I thank you for coming on and giving us some background. Let's start with you. Let's start with where are you at today? Where do you call home?
I call home right now between Los Angeles, California, and León, Guanajuato, Mexico. Right now with the COVID, I really don't want to spend a lot of time down in Mexico.
Oh, really? We were just having a conversation about going down there to Cabo. I want to go down to Cabo, and I want to go hang out at the resorts and not come back here.
I totally agree with you. Remember, I'm sorry. I guess when we're down there, we consider Baja another entity, and everybody calls Baja Baja.
Oh.
And Mexico is the rest of the country. And I don't see any issues in Baja with everybody I talk to. And anytime you want to go down, we'll go yellowtail fishing. We can go look at the gray whales. We can see the turtles give birth, or just about whatever you want to do.
We can see the turtles give birth, or we have to give birth while we're down there with the turtles.
What do I got to do with the turtles?
How much are we going to drink? That's the question.
Oh, man.
Well, with these two, anything is possible, turtle or not. Who knows?
That's true.
Who knows? How long have you been going down to Mexico and calling that your part-time residence?
You know what? It's funny because I am Mexican-American. I do not look it. My mother is from Iowa, blonde hair, blue eyes. My 2 6'4" brothers look like surfers, and I look pretty much like just a regular guy. We've been going to Mexico forever. About 9 years ago, I met a wonderful woman who was working as a flight attendant on the way to Argentina. Oh. And I talked to her, literally exited to use the restroom the last 10 minutes, spoke to her for about 4 minutes, walked off the plane, and this little voice told me to go back and talk to her. And then 9 years later, we're married, and
wow.
I have 2 great sons as a result, and she's amazing, and she allows me to do my adventures.
You must be good, because it took me a hell of a lot longer to land my wife.
Yeah, do you go like 4-wheeling down there? What's the what's there to do down in Baja?
No, León, Argentina, or whatever.
In León, Argentina.
It is.
I actually went down in Argentina. We were doing an adventure to look for the Nazis during Second World War. My dad and I went down there, and we're big history buffs. And we were talking to some of the military people that were involved during the Second World War, and there were tons of Germans that went there, and people don't know that was huge
Mm-hmm.
with the Nazis and, spies.
There's missing gold down there too that hasn't been found yet.
I
I
guarantee it.
I know this because my wife would leave me for Josh Gates. If you guys haven't ever watched what's it, Destination Unknown, Josh Gates is like a modern day Indiana Jones, and he does all these hunts and these big things. And I swear my wife would leave me for that guy any minute. So we've watched every one of those, and I've seen the episode where he goes down into Argentina.
I support that move if she gets the chance.
Oh, so would I. She could do so much better. But yeah, I know exactly what we're talking about. There's like he did this episode where there was this castle down there where all the Nazis were living, and they had full sonar trying to find the gold and the whole thing. Yeah, it's a major deal. Wow. That's cool.
Yep. The generals and Hitler. There's actually a lot of evidence that Hitler was never. He never killed himself at the end of the war, and he had 2 children. There's books on it. It's huge down in South America. I don't want to get on the conspiracy stuff, but what in fact happened. I know.
No, that's our other podcast.
Yeah, that's what. So just so you know,
you can
Matt,
come back on and be our first guest on that one when we start.
Yeah, Matt and Jose go down this path all the time. I got to rein them in. So let's see how far you get, and I'll let you know if I got to rein you in.
I'll say 4 words, right? Bigfoot, UFOs, jungle, and giant sea monsters in the middle of the ocean. I'll leave it there, and then that'll be for another night.
Dude, let's do it. We're in. I'm down for all 4 of those.
I have been very fortunate in that I've traveled all over the world, and in doing so, I have spoken to everybody, young children, old people, about their experiences and things that they've seen and strange things. So that could fill a long show.
So tell me about that. So how do you get lucky enough to travel around the world and do all this stuff, and how long have you been doing it?
You know what? I've always been an adventurer, and 16, I got a CJ7, and that started it. And I would just take off and camp and do this and that. And I was very lucky with work. Had some, it paid pretty well. And when I had some time off, I would always go somewhere and fish or ride motorcycles or 4-wheel drive or go out and do canoe trips, Colorado River or South America. So I've been very fortunate in that regards.
Awesome.
In seeing things and doing things. And I've always been an adventurer. And about 7 years ago, maybe a little bit more than 7, I was diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer. And I had a big tumor in my stomach. And my wife would come work down there. And then one day off, she would fly back, stay with me a day, and then fly back to Mexico. And after that, I sort of knew that was the one for all she had done.
Wow.
But I came to a point and I said, you know what? I want to adventure. That's what I want to do. I want to do it in some way that I can take people and have them do the experiences I have seen and done. And there's not money in this. You guys know that. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
There's chicken burritos sometimes.
You got to get off the chicken burrito.
I know.
I feed Matt once. I fed Matt once, and now... Oh, actually, take it back. Jose bought it that night.
Exactly. You fed me once. He fed me once. That's plural for burritos. 2 chicken burritos.
Yeah. Or the Arco, 2 hot dogs for 99 cents. That's about a little bit better.
Yeah, tonight was DiGiorno oven pizza is what we had for dinner tonight.
Delicious. Delicious. But you know what? I'm at a point in my life that my sons are both working on their doctorates. One's at the University of Mexico City in Mexico.
Wow.
The other one's at Cornell.
Wow.
And they're brilliant kids. I mean, I couldn't ask for better stepsons than these 2.
That's awesome.
And they're going to be fine. And my wife and I are going to be fine. And she's an adventurer too. Well, at least she thought until she met me. And now my wife is one of those that doesn't like going out without the makeup done perfectly, the hair done, and the clothes and all that. And now
that sounds like Matt.
She's really getting into this, which is awesome. She's like, where are we going now, and what are we going to do? And getting free flights too is a real plus.
I can't even get my wife to watch any like Ancient Aliens or any of the stuff that I want to see. She won't even watch it, let alone go on adventures.
I think they're smarter than us, and you and I just have to sit there and just have the information come into our brain while they're watching documentaries and reading scientific books or something to really show them how smart they are and ask that question why they're with us.
Yeah, well, here's the thing though. Matt's wife is my sister. She's not smarter. She's not smarter than Matt. I can guarantee it.
Dang. Wow.
She doesn't listen either, so
I know,
she'll never hear it.
Don't worry about it.
Somebody's getting in trouble tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not me. Yeah. I kept my mouth shut.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Yes.
So is she still a flight attendant? Is she still with the airlines?
She is still with the airlines down there. She's actually in Mexico City as we speak. It's just been a weird schedule where she's had 1 month on, 1 month off. Mm-hmm. She's supposed to work 4 flights during that's the whole month. And she ends up working 2.
Wow. So
they're going to get hit a lot harder than us with the travel and everything like that. And it's going to be a long time till there's any normalcy with travel or even going to a foreign country.
Yep.
It's going to be a long, long time.
Yeah, my wife was in the up until March. My wife was in the hotel business, hospitality business, and that, as you know, everybody knows, it came to a screeching halt. So, at least you still have the benefits of flights. That's a great benefit. And tell me about when you say that you're an adventurer and you and your wife like to go on. She likes to go on adventures with you now. Like what's an adventure for you? Where are you going? What are you doing?
You know what? We couple weeks ago we went up 395 and we just started driving up 395, and it all changed when I got a rooftop tent. I mean, for years everybody was using the tents that took 20 minutes to set up. Mm-hmm. So now we've got this nice rooftop tent with a nice padding. It takes a minute to set up, and it's so much more comfortable. And we've got a really nice tough stuff awning and shower combo. So now she has somewhere to shower and the other stuff if necessary.
That's the key, man. We've been talking about it off and on about, my wife's a trooper, but I want to make it more comfortable for her like that so that she's that much more excited about it. And then where, like, are you doing most of your adventures on the South or here in the States?
Right now, because of COVID, it's basically in the states around here, California, Nevada. We went up to Idaho this last time, Arizona.
S4.
Last month, we did 11 state trip in about 5 weeks. That was real nice. Europe, South America, Central, and things like that. Man. It's just been different.
How do we do that?
He's retired.
I know.
He's retired. That's
and
what
it's funny. I'll give you one story. So I think it was last year sometime. My wife goes, "Hey, I've got I'm flying to London. I'm working the flight to London, and then they gave me 4 days in a hotel there. Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." So we flew to London. We spent about 3 days doing the touring aspect. Mm-hmm. And then she's packing to get back. And I tell her, you know what? I think I'm going to stay here for about another week and just check everything out and see what's going on. And she's like, all right, cool. And she has no problem with that.
That's awesome.
So that 1 week turned into a month from going up to the Isle of Man and throughout England, and I went throughout Scotland. Then I took the ferry over to Ireland, and then she finally said about after a month, she's like, "I think you need to get home." But
and then I said, "Who's this?"
yeah, exactly. But
honey, I
you know
am
what?
home.
I know, and there's so many. All right. Let me reiterate that. I lucked out in the sense that there's not a lot of women when I tell them I'm going to take off for 2 months and ride motorcycles down to the Panama Canal and back.
Wow.
And she's like, have fun. You call me as quickly as you can, as often as you can, and send emails and pictures.
That is super cool.
And she's super supportive of all I do, and trustworthy, and a very strong and loving woman, which I'm so lucky to have.
That's awesome. So when you say supportive of all you do, let's talk about that. So tell me, what is life of an adventurer? You've got a YouTube page, you've got a Facebook page, an Instagram page, a website. What is life of an adventurer?
Well, I had been doing some guide work before this, where I'd taken people on different trips all over, and I ride motorcycle as well as the 4-wheel drive vehicles, and I see life of an adventurer as basically a state of mind. We deal with so many people, and I've got all these kids, and I don't have any time to do this, or I can't afford it, or I can't do this. And everybody thinks that adventure has to cost a lot of money. And everybody's idea of adventure is different. Whether we take that one large trip every year to Yosemite, if they can financially afford it, they take a trip down to Iguazu Falls in Argentina and the border of Brazil to see one of the greatest things in the world, these falls that are amazing and huge. But adventure could be somebody flying to New York for a long weekend to see the theater. It could even be going 200 miles north of here and camping with the kids for a couple of nights.
Yeah. And you know what? Sorry, don't mean to cut you off, but that's one of the things that we have embraced here from the beginning of the show. Is we talk about go out and chase your adventure, and adventure is different for everybody, and sometimes it's about just getting away. Sometimes it's about pushing your comfort zone. Sometimes it's about just spending time with people that you don't get to spend time with a lot. I mean, I absolutely 100% agree with you on that point. And, I hope that, people hear this story and get inspired to do, some of the stuff that you're doing. So the life of an adventure, the mindset, what did you start with YouTube or your website, or what? I mean, how did you go from, hey, honey, I'm going to be in London for a year, for a month?
It was a month.
For a month,
yeah.
to where you're at now.
You know what? We just started this small with Facebook, and then it honestly is really, really taken off. And my buddy Lonnie is one of the guys involved in this, and he sees what we're trying to do right now. And you know how it is in the beginning, you're not making any money, but we've got some great ideas, and we've been really fortunate to meet some really good people who believe in me. A lot of these companies believe in me because, you know what, I'm one of those, I have been there, I've done that, and I'm bringing a different mentality and a different insight to this industry. And we all know everybody is in different financial situations. We have people that can afford a $60,000 car and put another $50,000 in upgrades.
I know.
And then we have our other friends, that can afford a $4,000 4-wheel drive vehicle. It doesn't make anybody less of a adventurer. I've seen so much in this industry where a lot of people look down upon others by what they have or what they don't have.
Yeah.
And there is zero ego. Life of Adventure has zero ego. We really want to meet people from all walks of life and get involved with us. I went on an amazing trip this weekend. We just went overnight up to Lido Creek, but there are about 12 rigs that went up, and our buddy Frank made these amazing dinner for all of us, and we sat around and drank and talked. And we have every ethnicity, every type of financial background, and different educational levels. But you know what? This is what bonds us. This adventure, this outdoor, it bonds us. And I've met so many amazing people as a result of this. And that's what I like. Mm-hmm. And then I know I can call my different buddies and get opinions on what they do, or I have this buddy that's a specialist in the Jeep or a 4Runner or a Land Cruiser or this or that. And it's really neat going to these events and wearing our shirts or driving up in the trucks and guys coming up. Hey, I saw you. What's your next event? When are you coming? What are we doing? And so on and so forth.
Yeah, and going back to your trip to Lato Creek, for those of you that aren't Southern California natives, it is a super quick, right off the freeway, 15 minutes off the freeway, and you're in a place called Lato Creek. It's got a river rock bed, and you can wheel up there. It is not hard to get to. You could do most of it in a well-equipped two-wheel drive truck. You know what I mean? It's one of those places, like you said, where you don't have to go, overboard to still have some adventure. It's right around the corner.
Yeah, apparently it's filled with decorative rocks for your home.
Yeah, it was nice.
I don't know what you're referring to, sir. there's a backstory. There may or may not be some landscaping in my house that may or may not have once rested itself at Lato Creek. Why'd you have to bring that up, Jose?
Hey, maybe there was a crazy storm one day and just the rocks appeared.
Blew into my. I was driving the truck, officer, and they fell off the cliff. They landed in my truck, and I just put them in my flower bed.
Yep. A lot of that rock, too. I hear that happens a lot, too, where just these great, beautiful gardens have this rock that just ends up miraculously in the back of our pickup bed.
Yes. See, it's not my fault. It's not my fault, Jose, jerk face. I can't believe you sold me out right now, Jose.
I didn't say who. You sold yourself out.
True. Okay,
you always say hypothetically before you start the sentence that.
Hypothetically speaking.
I don't know what you're talking about, officer. Yep. These rocks are indigenous to my neighborhood.
These are typically found in Eastvale.
My luck, they would be like, you know what? We're going to carbon date these so we can tell you the exact area you got them from.
Well, now that Jose sold me out, I'm gonna get.
Dude, I didn't sell you out.
Now you got to take those rocks back.
I got to take all those rocks back. So you're doing the adventure. You were a guide for a while, and then you start the website, and then the Facebook. You start the Facebook. You gain some traction. I mean, your Facebook page is pretty well followed. It's got over 3,000 people following as of today, which is July 20th.
So I have 5,000 on my personal.
Okay.
And then we have a couple others too. I think we have LA Overlanders is another one we're doing. And then Roo, my dog, the Queensland Healer, ROO, the adventure dog.
Nice.
He actually gets a lot of followers too because as we all know, women like the dogs better than they do us.
Yeah.
At least the four-legged kind.
Absolutely, for sure. So the Facebook page starts to grow, and then from that you start doing the videos, and you start doing the Instagram and all that stuff, and then you start creating these events. When was the first event that you started?
You know what? About a month and maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago. We had a Life of Adventure Expo out in Walnut, and I was like, hey, if we get 100 people, we're going to do great. Well, next thing you know, we had over 500 people, and we probably had 400 plus rigs that showed up.
Wow.
That couldn't find parking. That it was so crazy that we were very fortunate. We got a lot of raffle prizes, that were donated to us for this raffle. And everybody loves all these raffle prizes from Front Runner and Wilco Off-Road and Tough Stuff and Buck Knives. And I know I'm Palmar Knives and Surviveware, just tons and tons of companies that graciously donated to us. I think they believe in me, in what I've done, and I have the training and everything to back it up, and pictures and stuff like that. And they've really taken a shot with me, a leap of faith.
That's cool.
And I am so really, really thankful for that. And because of that, I work my butt off trying to get exposure for these companies. And I think we're getting it slowly but surely, getting it with our videos, and we'll do some videos where we'll go out to these companies and talk about them. We just did Solo Motorsports the other day, which is an amazing fabrication company out here that they fabricate Broncos, newer Broncos.
They specialize in Ford stuff. I have definitely checked them out. And they're local too, because I've driven by their shop a couple times. I want to say South Orange County, right? Orange County, someplace.
Covina.
Covina.
What shop?
They're called Solo Motorsports, and they're a Ford specialist.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I wouldn't know where that is.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't pay attention.
Yeah.
Who cares?
You don't.
And
You
Solo,
can't,
huh?
Yeah, you can't.
That's right. By yourself. By yourself in West Covina.
Because you can't handle that much coolness. That's why.
Matt, what do you think about West
Oh,
Covina?
I thought I had a pretty good opinion of it till I just heard about that. Never mind.
This is horrible. So
I mean, yes.
So you did the first one you did was only a month ago? That was the big one? The first big
about 5 or 6 weeks ago, yeah. And it was amazing. And it could be what we're going through, or people are looking for things to go do. And we've got it all on the website at Life of an Adventurer, videos about our events, and guys are putting drones up and making videos and posting it. And all those guys that take the time to go out there and share this with their friends and go out to these events. I mean, we've got over 20 vendors so far that are coming to the one on Sunday.
Well,
and
let's talk about that one. So July 26, 2020.
Okay.
From 8 to 1 p.m. at 23080 Alessandro Boulevard in Moreno Valley. So
Correct.
That's the next event. You said you've got how many vendors already?
I have close to 25 vendors so far. Do you want me to read some of them?
I'm going to look right here. Hold on.
All right.
Whoa.
That was I clicked on the video on Life of an Adventurer because I thought it was
one of the. Yeah. And that's not even completely up to date.
Okay, so I'm seeing.
I mean, we've got.
I'm seeing Wilco,
Solo Motorsports,
okay.
Brotherhood 4x4, Easy Sync, Cali Raised Off Road, Deadman Off Road, Tortuga Off Road, Tower Tank is Sending Something Down, Step 22, Ruthless Americans, Lead Dog Motorsports, Rhino USA, Spider No Drill Roof Racks, Tough Stuff, Overland BMW Motorcycles of Riverside, Squatch Box Coolers, Long Beach Audio Shop, Just In Case Rescue, Rock Bottom Off Road, Renogy Solar, Combat Crawlers. As you guys know, we're going to have world famous tacos there. We're going to have DJ Roger. We're having a Boy Scout troop from Santa Ana come up to do the flag ceremony and also lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and also the national anthem. And we still got people calling us for this event.
That is cool.
The nice thing about it, should we talk about the Combat Crawlers Veteran Off-Road Association?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So we always want to give back to individuals and stuff. And we're very lucky that we were able to work with Combat Crawlers Veteran Off-Road Association.
Mm-hmm.
So the proceeds are going to go to this organization, and we've got some awesome raffle prizes that we're going to have for their specific combat raffle. And what they deal with veteran suicide awareness. They also start and they keep a support network with the people coming out of the service, because they come in and it's real difficult when they've dealt with all these different things and traumas and things like that to reintegrate into society sometimes.
Yeah.
And everybody knows we have 22 veterans that are committing suicide a day.
Yep.
That's unacceptable for the number one country in the world. I mean, it's that stuff just tears my heart.
Yeah, and there's a lot of organizations that are working on that, and Combat Crawlers is another one, and
yep.
I think for you guys to be able to partner with them, to be able to find a way to help support what they're doing is fantastic.
Yeah, and we really, really believe in them, and they're out there. They've been featured on Amazon Prime. So the nice thing, they do have some notoriety and things like that. Mm-hmm. So it's something we can give back to, because of course everybody loves off-roading and things like that, and camping and that. But there's also another issue in regards to these guys that we need to give back, whether it's financially or sponsorships or helping them one way or another. And that's what we're trying to do.
And so when I remember you and I talked a little bit, and you said this new venue here in Reno Valley has plenty of parking for everybody.
Yeah, we're going to have plenty of parking. There'll be 300 plus parking spaces at this venue, and right across the street, there's another 500 spaces. So, I mean, depending on how big it is, there will be parking. You may be able to park in the lot. If you don't, then you can go across the street and then walk over and see some amazing things we're going to be having there. I mean, we're also going to be having our raffle. We do a Life and Adventure raffle, and we have tons and tons of items that have been donated. I mean, some really cool stuff. We got a light bar and tons of backpacks from SOG, Tactical Samurai. We did a video on our webpage that just does a quick view of some of the items that we're raffling, and we're getting more things in every day, which is real nice.
That's awesome. Just and you know I'm all about the backpacks. So, and I have several SOG products. So a SOG backpack, come on, man, I'm in.
I know, and especially Coyote Brown.
Oh, there you
go. And that new gray, the new gray color.
There you go.
A lot of the adventures, we don't stop with just the off-roaders. We've got guys that fish and guys that hike, and we've got one guy in our team that's a very avid mountain climber that's climbed all over the world, James, and he posts for us too. So we're from all different walks of life, which I like.
Well, and that's a big part of, you know, the approach you've taken with Life of an Adventurer being non-specific to a type of adventurer. You know, you can attract all kinds of different people and bring those different perspectives into the conversation, right? I mean, everybody has a different experience level and a different things that they haven't. Some people have been fishing a bunch but never been off-roading, and vice versa. And you know, having people in the same conversation share the stories about what their specific adventure experience has been like may inspire others to go do the same, something different, or say, I would love to go fishing. So I'm gonna kind of throw some buddies under the bus here. There was a conversation at King of Hammers where the guys from Mountain Hatch are avid fishers, and Joe Cal was talking about how he wanted to go fishing, and so the Mountain Hatch guys were going to take Joe fishing to teach him how to fish. Am I remember that correctly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now he's hooked on it.
Yeah, now he's all about it, right? So that's I remember that conversation, and I look at Joe's Instagram posts now, and he's like all fishing all the time, and that's you know, kind of the this lays the groundwork for that, right? If you're having people from the hiking background and other backgrounds, other people are going to find new ways to make adventure.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing. If we can just have somebody put one foot in the door, and I can't tell you how many people have talked to me after our trips and said, you know what, that is the greatest thing I've ever done. experiences and life events and things. And they've now become avid fishers and outdoorsmen when bought trucks and fixed them up and are calling me and asking me, hey, where's the next adventure you're going on? I want to go.
Yeah, well, let's ask the question now. Where is that next adventure?
Oh, where's the next one? After this weekend, I will probably be sleeping all day Monday because we're putting a lot of time in here. But we have, I think it's maybe the 13th. We're going to take maybe 15 rigs and head up north, up towards the Nevada-California border. I have some special places. My secret spot, we're going to go do some fishing and some off-roading.
Oh, cool.
So we're going to drive super, super quick the first day, like a Thursday, and go up towards Topaz Lake and up by Gardnerville. I've got some friends up there and go out into the hills.
Where's the next big? What's your next big to do? What's on the horizon for the next big adventure?
You know what? For me, adventure, it's all contingent on whether my wife is going to be able to have the month of August off, and if that happens, who knows? We'll probably go somewhere. We've got to go out to New York to visit one of the sons at Cornell. So we may just be doing that. All of us had all these plans that have now been closed.
Yeah.
Events and all over. I mean, we had Overland Expo to go and some places on the East Coast and Washington and Oregon and the Jeep Jamborees. Everything's closed. So I'm not really making, you know what? Let me reiterate that. I'm sure I will be within maybe the first part of September. I will be going down to Bahia de Los Angeles in Mexico and Baja and yellowtail fishing.
Oh,
and
wow.
It truly is. I go there. I've been there 20, 25 times. It's a maritime preserve down there. Some of the best fishing in the world. Yellowtail, grouper, white sea bass, spear fishing. And I've had so many good memories. We were sitting out there one day fishing, and there's this giant seal rookery. And we're talking huge seals. There's some that's 2,000 plus pounds, but
Whoa.
There's about 150, 200 that sit on these rocks and then go in the water. Well, unbeknownst to us, a pot of orcas had come in, and they were literally riding the waves, grabbing a seal off the rocks, and then bringing them back into the water and eating them.
Yeah, see,
So-
I'm not going to go fishing for anything that can eat me. I don't see. I know my place is on dry land at that point.
They don't bother you too bad. I've got pictures of
I don't know. I'm pretty
a lot of
tasty.
that
Yeah,
stuff.
Matt's
You don't know how
Yeah.
tasty I am.
And it's funny because I know even though my phone won't be working down there, my wife sees that kind of post or something. She'll be calling me.
Yeah.
When we had the riots, I live real close to Fairfax and the Grove.
Mm-hmm.
Real close. My house is right there. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go over and check out the riots. So I'm like, all right.
Okay.
Wait, well, hold on. Like
That's
I'm
not
all for
adventure.
adventure. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
all for adventure.
That's
But now
suicide.
you've crossed the line. When someone says the words,
That's just I'm
I'm
tired.
gonna go check out the riots.
Yeah.
That's not adventure
I
anymore.
Hey guys, I'm
I
tired of
had
living.
to see it. I had to see it. It was one of those things
Channel
I just
9.
wanted to see with my own eyes. But of course, I'm at the very front checking it out and live feed. And next thing I have 5,000 viewers watching this live feed and about 35 calls from my wife. So, yeah. So I got in a little trouble that.
You're lucky
that
it's
day.
not your ex-wife.
Yeah, that's.
I know. No, this one's for keep.
Yeah,
They've been through so much. We know it. I know. No, I know.
I am not.
But,
I tell you what, if riots break out anywhere where I can quote go check them out, I'm gonna go the opposite direction just so everybody's clear.
I need to move.
Yeah.
I know.
Like I live too close.
It
to
was
bad
early.
Stuff.
Once it gets dark, I'm gone. I'm gone. I agree. But you know what? You only live once, and if I was sat in my
That's
chair
exactly the
and
point.
not
You
got
only live
up-
once. Stay away from riots.
That's what we're saying.
Come on, man.
You don't want to experience a riot in your life? Like
No,
one
I
time
don't.
in your life?
Nope.
I don't know if you guys, how old you guys are, but I specifically remember the '92 riots.
Oh,
and
Yes,
those
yes.
were crazy.
I can tell
But-
you.
I avoided those as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know exactly where I was and who I was with at that time, and it wasn't downtown LA. I can tell you that for sure.
I know.
Wasn't Crenshaw.
Well-
Wasn't South Central.
Nope.
I try to bring you guys some good content. So.
Well, yeah. The good news is the next time riots break out, we're gonna have to be scouring the TV to see if Mark's on there.
I know. Is he down there?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I'm going to be allowed to do that again if I can help it.
Mark's down there
So.
causing trouble.
But if I'm in some Central American country, Nicaragua, when I'm there and riots have broken out, it wasn't my fault, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's gonna say, "Well, wait a minute. Everywhere Mark goes, there seems to be some kind of a riot."
Just make it to El Salvador.
The
I got connections
instigator. The instigator.
That is funny.
But-
that is funny, man.
It's funny because it says that, and then you remember about places you've been and these amazing life experiences that we have that I know I've had, and I'm trying to show other people these things too. And that's what I want to do. I want people to come down and make friendships, and we get so many people that email me all the time. Hey, where today? What's a good two-wheel drive trail to go near Los Angeles? I don't have four-wheel drive. Or where can I go camping where there's some water? Or, I mean, just all the cool people that I've met as a result of this. And I want to meet you guys. I want you guys to come up to me when you see me at events and say, hey, I'm Joe, and it's nice to meet you, and I followed you, and we can have a conversation.
Yeah, but
I'm
Joe,
not the best.
look, if Joe comes up to you and says, "Hey, you should walk away," and it doesn't matter which Joe it is, because there's a couple that hang out with us. Just be safe for everybody, and don't hang out with them.
I know. I won't bring them on those dangerous excursions unless they sign that waiver, and
Yes.
we've got some of my high-tech guys with me, so I understand what you're saying. But
funny.
I am very careful now as I'm older.
Well,
But
I don't want you to be too careful.
Go
It sounds
through
like
cancer.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't want you to be too careful. It sounds like you've had a lot of excitement and you found your way through all of it, and you've just kind of tackled the world with this sense of adventure, and it's pretty inspiring.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And I don't wish anybody to get cancer, but there's sometimes,
Thank you.
and I'm thinking about writing a book that says, I wish you had gotten cancer. So people can, I know, but it's going to be a book that people can realize what really is important to you.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. I'm going to defend him, Matt. I'm going to defend him because I would imagine. So backstory here is my mom recently came through pancreatic cancer fairly easily, to be honest. I mean, they found it by accident, and it was. I mean, she wouldn't say it's easy. It's been a tough road, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it could have been a lot worse. And I've had some conversations with her, and I can imagine that when someone throws that word cancer at you, you start to reevaluate everything in your life and everything that matters. And if you make it through that, it changes who you are as a person, right?
Completely. It showed me who my true friends were. It cemented my friendship, that people that actually came and saw me in the hospital and took the time to send a meal over. And then I realized who the people weren't my friends. And I really severed a lot of relationships as a result of that. Mm-hmm. I find enjoyment in the smallest things now. And I take life a lot slower than I did before. And this is a great life. I'm having an amazing, amazing time with doing what I want and seeing places that I've read about by these amazing authors. And a lot of the adventures are always asking, well, we've got Hemingway and we've got Lewis and Clark expeditions and Jack London and Oscar Wilde. And things like that. And I read a lot when I was a kid, and I love to do it. But there's like nothing in the world like going to the Wyoming, to the Buffalo Bill Cody Museum, that NRA museum, which is just inspiring, just unbelievable. The NRA has the largest firearms museum in the world. And if you're into guns, that's really cool to see. But I'm driving through places and I'm saying, you know what, this is where this person started their big adventure. We're going up to Alaska and seeing the Klondike or Deadwood in South Dakota, or this or that. And let me reiterate that. We can't take the money with us, but we can take the memories and the friendships that we have made.
That's pretty inspiring right there. I mean, that's one of those things that we talk about a lot, and then we get stuck in the rat race, and I'm just as guilty of it, and punching through the day at work and trying to figure things out. So I think that's a really good spot to end on, Mark, because I think that hopefully that resonates with people. And they take take your lead on some of these adventures. And if you guys want to connect with Mark and Life of an Adventurer, you can find them this weekend, right? So we're going to give that out again. It's the July 26th from 8 to 1 p.m. at 23080 Alessandro Boulevard in Moreno Valley. Come check out all of the vendors, all of the stuff that's going on. Buy raffle tickets, buy plenty of raffle tickets, because it sounds like they have an awesome set of gifts to give away for that. And then where are you most active, Mark? Are you most active on your Facebook page? That seems to be where your biggest following is.
You know what? We've got Facebook with Life of an Adventurer. We're also on Instagram at life_of_an_adventurer.
Okay.
We've also got a YouTube channel at Life of an Adventurer there. And I'm not the most technical guy, and thank goodness for Lonnie that he is more so. I just want to be out on the road and doing adventuring and going to cool places and sharing that with the people that are watching me.
That's awesome, man. That is really cool. So everybody go check out all their pages, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Go to their website, and then go meet them this week. Go meet Mark this weekend in Moreno Valley, and let him know you heard him on the show. And hopefully you get a bigger turnout on this one, so that the next time you have to find an even bigger venue.
Oh, we're going to have our big one is going to be a 2-day event that we're working on at one of these lakes that are out here in Southern California, where we're planning all day. Saturday is going to be the vendors. Saturday night, we're going to have a camping space for vehicles. We're going to have the dinner catered, maybe a Hawaiian luau or a Western theme, steak and chicken, and then beer truck and music and dancing. And then the next day is going to be another day of the vendors. So
sounds
this is
like
what we're working towards.
Sounds like a party to me. Keep us informed.
It will be.
let us know when it's happening.
Definitely.
Awesome, man. Mark, seriously, thank you so much. Your story has been great. I really did appreciate having the time to talk to you, and we will catch up with you soon. You have a great night, sir.
Fantastic. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So we are still live, so don't say anything horrible about Matt yet. Let me we're going to
No, go ahead. Do it.
let me save this recording real quick. Seriously, Mark, that was a great conversation, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Okay. Definitely let me know about the I got some great stories on Bigfoot and aliens and some crazy stuff.
You're gonna get these guys going. They've been
That's
after
all right.
me. They have been after me.
Meet me for a beer or something, or come out on one of our events, and I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
These guys have been after me to start a second podcast all about conspiracy theories and craziness, and I keep giving them some reasons what would have to happen for that to become a thing, and neither one of them want to pull the trigger on it. So I don't know that it'll ever happen.
My neighbor has a podcast. It's one of the ladies that walks her dog, and I've talked to her, but her brother is some doctor and has some really huge, one of those shows on TV.
Oh, really?
And that's what he does. And she does the voiceover work for them. And she's got stories too. And it's huge. People want to know about what's going on and what's out there, and things are happening and opening up, and the government is saying, yes, there are now unidentified flying objects. So who knows what's going on? I could tell you about the
UAPs.
Giant faceless men in Tepoztlan, Mexico, that guard a jungle cave that are half an hour from my in-laws' house in Cuautla, Mexico.
Seriously, Mark, you're gonna get these guys so riled up right now.
Dude, let's go down there and take a video of those guys. If you know where those guys are, why aren't we there? Why aren't we halfway there?
You tell me when you want to go. You look up a town called Tepoztlan, Tepostlan in Mexico. It's about an hour and a half from Mexico City. It's a huge UFO hotspot.
All right, Jose's on it.
Yep.
Come on, Jose.
Or I've got a place in Chile too that my wife and I rented a car and four-wheel drove up to this little town that's only open 2 months out of the year, just because we wanted to see it at 14,000 feet. And we started talking to the 70-year-old owner of this little place where we could get a room, and he ended up renting us his spare room. And about the alien craft that was there 3 weeks before with these giant octopus-like tentacles.
You should see Matt's face right now.
Dude, man. I know. And I totally...
Nothing good ever happens to me. It's just boring.
I looked at this stuff, and I'll show you some video that I took about 2.5 months ago above Bishop, California, up at about 10,000 feet on one of the hills. So when I see you, you asked me to show that to you.
Oh no! Where do you live? I'm halfway to your house.
I'm right by Park La Brea, so come on down, right by the Grove.
Yeah, but there's gonna be riots down there, dude. Don't go anywhere near there.
I know. You'll be fine. Or my wife, who's the flight attendant that flew into Mexico City, and has seen 5 crafts. Where Mexico City is one of the biggest UFO spots in the world.
Well, because they had all the temples. All the temples that were
all the time.
Yeah, all the Aztec temples that were built down there were homage to the aliens that came down and settled the earth. Nothing from either one of you? Come on.
Jose's trying to look up this this town.
Tepoztlan.
All right.
But,
Jose, do you want me to? Do you need me to spell that Hispanic city
ahead,
for you?
Can you just,
How do you want me to pronounce that for you, Jose?
we sit around campfires, and I have people. This is what they're talking about, or they're scared, or people think they're psycho or whatever. After cancer, I don't give a shit who believes me or not, to be honest.
Nice.
I need
more of that.
Crazy stories.
Oh, I bet. I need more of that. I don't give a shit attitude.
Yep. And you know what? I don't. That's the nice thing. I'm still respectful and nice to everybody else. But if you want to have an attitude with me, I'm not gonna. It's just I'm going to stand back. I'm not going to deal with it.
I agree.
I am a nice guy, and I try to bring everybody together in this industry.
That's awesome.
Where we can all be friends, because there's enough for everybody.
There is enough for everybody, man. There is.
No reason to be rude.
Nope. All right, man. Well, we're going to let you go. We're going to reset and do the rest of our our stuff, and then this will get released on Thursday. I'll send you an email Wednesday with all the info and promotional stuff and go from there. And I again, I appreciate you spending some time with us, and hopefully we get to chat again soon.
If any of us can do anything for you guys or help you, or you want to put a link or anything ever with us, we're more than happy to help you.
Awesome. We'll definitely touch base later and go from there.
All right, cool.
Thanks
man. Guys. Have a
great
good
night.
night.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
I'm glad that I had saved the recording, and then as the conversation started, I kicked on another recording because I was like, this is going to go someplace good. So, all right, everybody on the live feed, do you guys need a 5-minute?
Whatever you guys want.
I need a 2-minuter. You guys can make fun of me in the live feed. I'll be back in just a second.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, so I was trying to find that stuff about the guarded cave, right? That's what he said?
The faceless men. Just look up faceless men.
Oh, but he said it was a faceless man.
Just look up faceless men in Mexico.
There's a lot of those.
Whoa. Okay.
Faceless men. What is this?
Oh, that's Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah, that's the that whole temple. Yeah.
That's right, the temple of the faceless man.
I didn't really get that storyline. Like, what was the whole point?
They didn't dig into it enough.
Like, why did she end up there? And she learned. Oh well, she learned how to shapeshift because
she went on a mad assassin spree. She killed. She was like the whatchamacallit family vengeance plan. You know, the Stark. She came back, you know, because everybody was rooting for the Starks at first, and then they got slaughtered. And then it was like, thank God for what's her face. I can't remember.
Not Cersei. That's
no, not Cersei. I can't remember her name, but whatever.
Red, right? Talking about Red?
That's Brienne of Tarth. Yeah. The big chick or the Red Witch?
No.
The witch, the Red Witch.
No, Winterfell's queen.
Oh yeah. I don't know, dude.
The daughter, the oldest daughter.
No, I know. She's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. She was hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one.
Yeah.
It's like the one.
No, I'm more of the that night chick. What's her name?
That's Brienne.
Brienne, that's more of my
What are we talking about?
Cup of tea.
You like to wrestle?
I should have been recording.
That's eye-opening.
Know.
Hey, does Letty know that?
What? Are you guys talking about anime? What is that?
You are missing. You missed out. Dude.
I know.
That's 2 minutes you'll never get back.
Wow.
There's like 9 people online that know Jose's secret, his deep dark secrets about Game of Thrones.
You don't want to know my search history.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh,
Are you a cosplay fan now? All of a sudden?
No.
Ooh.
No.
Are you like doing LARP out in front of your house?
No, we were talking about
Jose,
the hotness levels of
you guys. Do you guys want to LARP?
Of the Game of Thrones cast.
Let's do it. I'll do it.
And I said,
no.
Brienne's more my cup of tea.
I LARP every day I go to work. That's me role playing someone that gives a damn about work.
Oh man.
Woo. That was funny.
What a shit show.
Whatever. As soon as the parent goes away, the kids start having fun. That's all that happens.
Perry is telling me that I don't need to worry about it. It's nothing I want to hear. So I'm good with that.
Probably not.
All right, we ready? Let's keep going.
Yeah, go ahead.
3, 2, 1. All right, so when you guys rolled up today, did you notice anything different about the front of my house?
Yeah, there was another vehicle in front of it.
Car.
So
you had a visitor or something.
Go ahead and open that door.
So we
that little Pandora's box.
Yeah, and you know what's okay? Here's the sad thing about my life, listener.
You want to have like another episode where I'm not on.
No, here's the sad thing about my life is as things are really happening in my life, I have to look at my wife and go, you realize this is show content, right? She's like, I know. I'm like, you realize this is going to come on the show. And so we talked last week about the 2016 Ford Explorer Sport we bought. We bought.
Yeah, it had a shake.
Well, okay.
I
So
think it shimmied a little bit.
no. It didn't.
A lot of it.
It didn't shake. It had a vibration, like a wind vibration, and I think that was the windshield wiper.
Your subframe coming off the car.
So when we bought it, there was two issues. There was some scuffs on the side passenger side door that they were going to fix,
and it was a Ford,
and a back seat that didn't fold correctly. They were going to fix that. That's the only two things. On the drive home, I noticed that little bit of buffeting vibration. I figured, okay, it was dark. I couldn't tell what it was. I figured it out. That was Sunday. Monday, Tammy says, "Hey, listen to this," and she closes the she closes the driver door, and like
that's Ford for help.
She closes the driver door, and there was a distinct rattle inside the door, like the window mechanism was loose or something. And I was like, okay, well, we can add that to the service thing. Like at this point, but I'll be honest, at this point, I was like, I don't know.
Maybe it was the same tech that worked on my old F-150.
Yeah, maybe. Built in the same day.
It was the same shift that built my old F-150.
So that all of those were minor, and the Explorer was fun to drive. It was comfortable. It was fully loaded.
This is still day 1.5.
We're not quite to day 2. So day 2. And while we were driving home Sunday night, I'm playing with all the menus.
You should just stop, dude.
No, listen.
It's good.
As
It's
we're driving home Sunday night, I'm playing with all the menus because it's similar to my truck, and at one point the wrench pops up and it says C manual.
The wrench pops up.
the wrench icon on the dashboard, and I just assumed that I had pressed something to get to that piece, right?
No, that's please help.
So Tuesday, that icon pops up again. And I'm looking at it, and it's the wrench icon. It says C manual. I open the manual. It says drive. I took a picture of it. It says 4-wheel drive or drivetrain failure. C.
And then there's a countdown. Like, oh no!
It's totally
3, 2,
Yeah, you
1.
had 12 hours from that light coming on, and you were at hour 11 with 58 minutes
Yes,
left.
exactly.
It was. I took pictures of it because I was like, oh crap. So it came on, and then it said it says illuminates powertrain fault. Illuminates when the system detects a powertrain or a 4-wheel drive fault. Contact an authorized dealer as soon as possible.
Or call CarMax and tell
So
them
that was day 2, right?
return it.
That was Tuesday, and I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, all right, we're gonna take this thing back because that's the beauty of CarMax. You've got 7 days to return it. So Wednesday,
They were so bummed out when you drove back. They were like,
Oh, came back.
you couldn't make it 7 days. You couldn't like tape over whatever was shorting out, or put like reprogram it just for a few days.
So Wednesday, I'm like, I'm gonna take this. So Tammy was working. She had some stuff she couldn't do. I had a fairly free afternoon. So I'm like, I'm gonna take this to CarMax. I'll call you when you got to come and sign paperwork. So I'm driving up there. And I'm like, man, this car is just fun. I really, really liked. Maybe it was just a bing, and I went, damn it. So I took pictures of it again. I drove straight into the service bay at CarMax, and I told them what's going on. And they're like, well, do you want us to check the codes? I'm like, you could check all the codes you want. I got 7 days.
Give me my money back.
I'm done. Like, I'm not going to stick around. The guy's like, what's going on? And I'm like, these 3 issues, and then this popped up. I'm not sticking around to see what happens. He's like, I don't blame you. So it was a fairly painless process to just return the car. So that was Wednesday, I think.
Imagine if that was day 8.
Oh, that was the thing. And like Tammy and I were talking about it, and I'm like, I don't. She was like, well, maybe we can do it this weekend because we're trying to figure out time. And I'm like, no, I don't want it to be like, it starts at midnight the day that you purchase the vehicle types. I'm done right now. Yeah. I don't want to wait any longer. So we took it, and dropped it off, did all the paperwork, quote, got our deposit back, but they had to mail that to us. That just showed up today.
Of course, they have to.
So
real eager to take your money that day.
Yeah,
but slow to pay out.
Well, I mean, we got it today, so it wasn't that bad. But in the meantime, we were a single car family, and I'd already committed to be at Matt's house Saturday to do basically what ended up being nothing because we were dumb and we're air conditioning guys, not tile guys.
Whatever. Yeah, exactly.
So I told Tammy, and I'm like, all right, like you drop me and Presley off at Matt's house, and then go find a car. Like, I don't care at this point. I don't care what it is. I don't care whatever. And so she went and she drove a bunch. She checked out a bunch. There was a couple that she was interested in. She sent me a message and said, I think I found it. It was a brand new 4Runner SR5 Premium. And she'd been talking about the 4Runner because we had seen him. And I was like, look, I will not stop you from buying a 4Runner. I am loving the idea of you having a 4Runner, but the 4Runner is not what all of the things that she said she wanted, the comfort, the amenities, the luxury, like, you know, step up from her Jeep.
The comfort, I don't think it's not an issue. I mean, it's a comfortable truck.
It's a comfortable truck, but it still drives like an SUV. It drives like an off-road SUV.
Oh yeah.
And Toyotas are Spartan. Even that one that we set in the day before, it's Spartan. It doesn't have bells and whistles. It's going to run for 200,000 miles.
But it's going to run forever.
It's going to be a great off-road vehicle, but I didn't think it was going to tick all of her boxes, but I was like, yeah, go for it. Boom. It's only 2-wheel drive. So she decided against that one, and we ended up landing on a 2019 Dodge Durango GT all-wheel drive. It's really freaking cool. Really nice.
Is it making any dings or noises? Has any lights or wrenches come flying out?
No
at
lights
you,
or wrenches or noises
ticks?
or anything. It's been really, really cool.
Huh. Do you think if you put a Ford Oval just on the hood, immediately things would start breaking?
No, dude. Look, just because of one bad Ford doesn't mean they're all bad Fords. Not all Fords are bad.
2 bad Fords in this room.
Two bad Fords don't make a right.
Right. No Fords. No Fords over here.
So it's the interesting thing. It's a Matt and I, when she sent the message that what she was looking at. Matt was still at Matt's house, and we started looking at some videos. And it's all-wheel drive, but it's different than the other all-wheel drive SUVs. All of the other all-wheel drives are front wheel.
Yeah, front wheel dominant.
Yeah, front wheel drive, and then they kick in the rear when necessary. The Dodge does it the opposite way, and you can feel it. So basically,
it's a better performing truck or vehicle.
Yeah, and being the GT, I mean,
rear
thing's
wheel
quick.
drive.
And so it reminds me of the same Quadra-Track that was in the WJ. It's probably the next evolution of that. The WJ also had a low range. This doesn't have a low range, but
this one have a V8 in it?
No, it's a 3.6. Yeah, 3.6 6-cylinder.
It's the one that's in the Jeep.
Yeah. But it's very for the size of SUV, for the size of vehicle it is. You put it in sport mode, take the eco off, and put it in sport move. It will move. It will get up and move.
It's got the third row seating, right? That was an initial want.
Yeah.
It does. It has a third row seating. It's silver. It's super nice. I'm very happy. She's happy with it now. I'm just glad that I can stop looking at vehicles because I'm tired of shopping for cars. I don't think I ever say that. I'm tired of shopping for cars.
Car shopping sucks, dude.
Yeah.
You go car shopping like every year.
Well, you think you'd master the process by now.
Well, I mastered the process. So, okay.
Here's the process. Go to CarMax, see what they have.
Here's the thing.
I don't want to haggle. Just give me what you got.
So
Ford, shit. All right. Like I said, I don't want to haggle.
I don't
give it to me.
Tammy hasn't listened to the show recently because she's not commuting anymore, so maybe she won't listen to this. But so that was the comment I made to her. I said, when I bought the truck.
Yeah, maybe.
When I bought the truck, I knew what truck I wanted. I knew exactly what features I would not compromise on, which ones I would compromise on. I had 2 different colors to pick from. I went and found it. I test drove it. The only thing she had to do was give me a ride to go buy it. That was it. Like but with her, she was like, she didn't know what she wanted. She just wanted something different. So now every SUV is on the market. Is a possibility. Everything, and it's like constant searching. And what about this? What about that? Oh, it's too small. That's too big. I don't want, And it just took, because she didn't have a vehicle that she was shopping for, a specific vehicle. It seemed to take forever, and like trying to weigh out the factors. And that was the other thing. Like, if you're shopping for a truck, okay, I want a half-ton truck, 4-wheel drive. Well, you can look across Dodge, Ford, Chevy, Nissan, Toyota, and compare apples for apples, horsepower, capacity, payload, all that stuff, and pick out the one that makes the most sense that you like. But when you're trying to compare a Ford Escape to a Nissan Armada, because you're not sure to a Honda Pilot, she went and looked at the Honda Passport because that for some reason that sparked her interest. It was like so all over the place that I was so done with it. I was like. And then at one point she was like, just go pick something for me. Just go, you just buy it. And I was like, I am not that, because I will come back with something that I'll have to hear about for the rest of our life.
It could be the greatest vehicle that was ever produced.
Yes. But if the color wasn't right, if it made a single noise, I'm like, I'm having no part of that.
No, of course not.
So in Adventurous Northwest, we did look at the Telluride. So here, let me tell you about the Telluride. It is sweet. It is very nice. F Kia San Bernardino. F Kia San Bernardino specifically.
All right.
So we were looking at the Telluride. That was one of the ones that she really, really liked, and it does have a lot of. It's like number one on all the lists. The features are awesome. So we go online and we search for inventory, and we find one of the all-wheel drive moss green that she liked. It's in San Bernardino. I call the guy. Hey, I see that you have a moss green Telluride all-wheel drive. Can you verify that it's there? I'm looking at it online right now. Can you verify it? He's like, yeah. He comes back 2 minutes later. He's like, I just looked at it. It's here. I said, we will be there before 6 o'clock. We will be there before 6 o'clock. We're on our way. So we go pick up Presley. We text my sister on the way up and ask if she'd be willing to watch Presley for a few hours. We literally rolled up in front of Matt's house. I opened the door. I took Presley out, gave her a kiss. I said, go knock on Auntie Monty's door. Tammy and I sat in the car. Presley knocked on the door. Matt's wife opens the door, and I peeled out. We took off. We got down there. We drove it. It was super nice. The only downside was that a really, really light interior, which I'm not a fan of. And then all of a sudden, I look at the tag, and it's $50,000. And I was all, your website said.
Do you know this is a Kia, sir?
I said your website says this one was 38. He's like, yeah, that's MSRP. I get that. He's like, well, we mark them up. $12,000.
Dude. What's the demand on a Telluride?
It's high. That's what he's saying.
Get out of here.
No, I'm not even kidding, dude. If you did an inventory search for an all-wheel drive Telluride, you got to go to freaking Northern California to find one. They're gone.
I thought you were pointing to Barstow. I'm like,
Barstow.
Like
Victorville.
You got to go to Reno. You got to go to Reno to get one. That's why we were excited and we ran down there to get the all-wheel drive. So, and I'm like, dude, I get that, but $12,000. And he's like, well, all dealerships mark up. I'm like, okay, do you understand what manufacturers suggested retail price means? The people that build it think you should be able to sell it for that price and still make money.
To be fair, it's suggested, so it can go either way.
It could go, and you know what? Most of the time, the MSRP on one of the ones we looked at was less than, the sale price was less than the MSRP because they were having a deal. But I just don't. $12,000, and he's like, I'll have.
Why didn't
he's like, hey, bro, you don't have to buy it.
Yeah, what's?
But why didn't they tell you? It says 38,000 on the website MSRP, but we're actually trying to get 50 for it.
Yeah,
just so you don't waste your trip. That's a courtesy.
That's what I said.
Why do you have it for 38 on your just to get? Guess what? I'm gonna key half the cars as I walk out of this place.
So their customer service.
That's just me though.
Yeah, their customer service lady called the next day.
I got lots of keys.
She called the next day and said, "Oh, I'm following up. You looks like you were at our dealership and you were dealing with this guy. Blah blah blah. Is there anything?"
Did you key all our cars?
Yeah. She's like, "Is there anything?" And I said, "No." I said, "You know what?" I said, "And while you're here, I said,
sit down because it's gonna be a long call."
I said, "You know what?" I said,
"You called me."
I said, I said I wouldn't buy a vehicle from you even if I had $50,000.
Now start cussing.
I said I think it's pretty deceptive for your website to advertise a vehicle at 38.
Effing deceptive.
At 38.
Stop being fun, please. Let it go.
And
Let the bad vibes out.
And all of a sudden, I said I drive all the way out to your dealership after calling to verify it's there.
Wasn't it San Bernardino?
Yeah.
You went to San Bernardino,
I
man.
know. I know.
Easy.
That's a drive. Who would make that drive?
You barely made it out of there.
I was like, that's pretty scandalous. Okay, manufacturer suggested retail, they want to do some markup, fine. But $12,000?
Wait till you see the Bronco markup, dude.
Dude.
MSRP $25. Like, what a scam! What a scam! Oh, that's just like a dirty. That's what gives car sales a bad, horrible name, and why people hate doing it.
Yeah, and then he gets the sales manager, which is always the plan, right? Let me get my sales manager and see if I can
bring him over here. I'll yell at him too.
So the dude came over and he's like, "How you doing?" I introduced myself and I was like, he said, "What can I help with?" And I said, "Your website advertised that vehicle for 38. You have it listed at 50. This is what I'm willing to pay." Well, we have to mark up. Okay, we don't have to have any more conversation than this. I said, all we need to know.
Good day, sir.
I said, good day. I said, look. I said, I get that, and if you want to sell this vehicle at 50, that's fantastic. I'm not the person that's going to buy it at 50. All I need to know.
Does he know that that's San Bernardino?
Yes.
Ain't nobody in San Bernardino got $50,000 laying
Look, I was born at
Come
night.
on.
It's like, look, I was born at night, but not last night.
Yeah, I said, all I need to know is, can you get this vehicle out the door for this price? And he's like, well, let me check. I said, I don't have all night. I don't have all night. He says, give me 2 minutes. And he goes in and he runs.
No.
He comes back out with a print. He comes out with a printout. And he tries to do the justification. Well, here's what we paid and here's what the fees and the whole.
That's not what I asked.
I said, so is that less or more than the number that I asked for? And he said, it's more. Thank you very much. You have a fantastic day. And we walked out. I just.
How long before they want to run your credit?
Oh, no. No, not happening.
My God. No.
Not happening. I was.
It's a horrible week for we went to El Pollo Loco. We got all wound up.
Yeah, dude.
Now we're all wound up about Kia and San Bernardino.
Easy.
Woo! Kia. Never mind. Remember back in the day, Kia was Yugo. It was a half a step above Yugo.
There's a switch that got flipped.
Well, no. So Hyundai and before Kia, Hyundai, when I was in high school, Hyundai was a throwaway vehicle. You got that Hyundai Excel, four-door Excel for $4,000. Yeah, and
they were cheap as
and
shit.
Everybody under 18 had one because mom and dad could buy it for $4,000. And they were literally throwaway cars.
You went out to Kia San Bernardino, and that's where you expected to buy a Hyundai Excel. You went to Kia San Bernardino. Hey, I want to buy a really cheap car for my kids. Where do you go? You go right to San Bernardino. You just start driving to San Bernardino, and it'll.
No, usually it's a Valley Boulevard in Fontana.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh no, that's not what you go there. That's not what I heard. You go down there for.
You're shopping for something completely different.
Something.
I didn't say what kind of car.
Totally different ride. But Hyundai and Kia, who both started off as throwaway vehicles, have really stepped up their game. And that Telluride, 100%, that Telluride is a bitchin' vehicle.
It ain't $12,000 over asking.
Yeah, dude. It is just not. It's not something I'm willing to pay $50,000 for.
Especially that's insane. It's insane. Kia, you better check yourself.
Yeah.
Dude, if they mark up Raptors now, like brand new Ford Raptors, they mark them up now. What do you think the Bronco's gonna have, like a $25,000 markup fee?
Yeah, probably, but it ain't a Kia.
Some say it's worse.
So that has been the epic vehicle adventures for the last couple weeks for me. It's been just a madness fest. But
that's it. I'm not buying a new car. I'm staying with my old reliable. I don't have to deal with any of that crap.
Yes, I will tell you that
I have never left a dealership feeling like
I got one. It was a win.
Not like a win. It's just like,
dude, you always walk
I know
away.
they got over on me a little bit here. And it's kind of like, Jose, we were starting to talk about that early, like contracting, you got to have somebody come and do work at my house. But, that's a skilled thing. Like, dude, people got to make money. And I guess when it comes to like
100%.
Auto sales, like people got to make money on that too. But, I never leave like, yeah, like you're super stoked because you just drove off in something new. And then like a week later, like I probably could have. You start looking through like freaking docking fees. What the? Well,
did you just drop one right now?
I said friggin'.
I'm gonna have to go back and double check the tape here.
That.
Check.
Oh, come on, you guys.
Nice. Hey, you know what? I laid it up and I missed, and then you got to put back Jose.
I got you, dude.
Yeah,
you guys.
Hey, this is gonna do.
You guys can't even high five correctly. So most of the last handful of vehicles we've purchased have been from CarMax, and that's. You know what you're paying for going into it. Like it's like that's one of the things I like about it. You go in there, it's no haggle. You look at it online, you agree that's the price you're going to pay. Whatever. I will say I don't think I've told it on the air. The 1996 Tacoma I bought. Did I tell you guys this story? That
light pink one.
Yes, it was purple. By the way, it was purple. So I had an 88 XJ that I couldn't keep running. The electric, something was going on with the electrical. I changed the battery, the starter, the alternator. I had changed everything, and I couldn't keep it running. Like I didn't know what the problem was. So I put it on a charger. I drove it to a Toyota dealership to trade it in. They gave me a price for the trade-in, and I knew that I could afford $300 a month on a 96 Tacoma SR5 4x4 extra cab. And in the evening lights in Pomona, under the blue halogen lights, it was the most beautiful royal blue I'd ever seen in my life. And so we're sitting there going through the whole haggling process, and of course it starts off at $475. All right, well I need to be at $300, and then it comes down to $450, and then it comes down to, and I'm just like haggling for hours. And the guy's like, $321 a month or what? That's only an extra, 75 cents a day or whatever it is. And I said, dude,
it's only a cup of coffee a day.
I said, dude,
that's where the sales pitch came from.
Yeah, I said, dude, can I drive over here and you give me that 75 cents a day because I'm going to need it to put gas in this thing. It doesn't make sense for me to buy a vehicle. I can't even put gas in. I told you, $300. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Good day, sir.
Good day, sir. And we're walking out to the XJ, and I'm with my ex at the time, and I'm like, oh, damn it. I don't even know if this car is going to start. Like, I don't even know if the XJ is going to start to get me out of the parking lot after I just told these people to go F themselves. And I'm like, this is going to be, I'm going to have to call your dad to come get me something. We get to the door. I open the door, and the guy comes out. $300.25 per month. And I went, sold. And I turned around and but that was like 4 hours of haggling.
Oh, yeah. Every time.
Yeah.
Dude, why can't it be just, hey, this is a new car. This is the price. Why can't it be that way?
Because people like Kia Telluride, people like Kia San Bernardino see the Telluride. They know that everybody in a 100-mile radius is searching for that vehicle right now, and they get in it and they drive it. And most people get in it and drive it and think, oh my God, I have to have this, even if it's $10,000 more than I wanted to spend.
Dude, no.
And they go down that path. When we were doing the paperwork for the Dodge, this is horrible. There was a family in there where we were waiting to go into finance. There was a family in there, 4 of them, all adults, talking about how they wanted their payment to be X amount of dollars. And I looked at him and I was like, I don't think the 4 of you have that much money combined. Like you.
Why? What do they look like?
They did not. They were not dressed as someone you would expect to have $100 in their pocket. Like it
what
was.
Are you saying?
They were.
Where was it? Is this the Kia in
No,
San Bernardino
this is
again?
Ontario. This is back in Ontario now. They were. I don't have to cut this out. This is horrible because that's so judgmental. I was just really, when they were talking about the amount of money they were willing to spend every month, I was thinking to myself, holy crap, that's a huge payment. Like that's a lot of money. But that's what people. Oh, and while I was there at the Jeep dealership, they had. You saw the pictures I posted of the Eco Diesel.
Dude, 65.
65,000 for that Eco Diesel Wrangler. Dude, I'm looking at it, and one of the sales guys like, "You got any questions?" And I'm like, "I can't afford this. I don't need to ask any questions."
How do you know? Sit down. Go to our office. We can make it work.
I could not believe it.
Dude, but people buy them.
I know. Dag, blurn it.
They ask for any sort of income that coming in. Like, do you cut lawns on the weekend?
Well, that was my post. That was my post. Anybody have a lawn I can mow or some poop I need to clean up because I need to make some extra cash. This is ridiculous.
Oh, that's right. I offered. It's a dog had just pooped for you.
Yeah,
but you left too early.
I'm good without your dog's poop.
Yeah, dude, you're making me not want to buy a new car anytime soon. Like,
no, you got 6 months, bro.
Well, no, the orders you can submit later this year. Like,
yeah, but I mean, it's 6 months before you have to take delivery or anything.
Yeah, dude, I do not want to go through that process. Like,
well, if you know what'd be amazing to just one time have enough cash and just go, yeah, cash, bitch. How much is the MSRP? I got 1,000 less.
Yes,
cash.
Here it is. Yeah.
I don't even want to sign paperwork.
Yeah.
I just want to give you
a bag of money,
and you give me some keys.
I want keys.
That's
you get this bag,
dude.
That'd be a dream come true.
So
does it work that way?
If you still have to sign paperwork.
What, the registration?
Yeah, all that's a contract and
what contract?
I don't know.
Warranty,
bill of sale. So going back to my conversation about those people didn't look like they could afford that car, right? So now I'm thinking back to when I was in my 20s. My ex and I went to buy a 4Runner, brand new 4Runner, and I remember we were in our 20s, but we were both doing really well at the time. And I remember going to the Toyota dealership and said, "Yeah, we're looking for a 4Runner." And he said, "Okay, great. What specifically we're looking for?" And I said, "We're looking for a 96, and this color, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Ooh, I don't know, guys. That might be too much for you. Let's go over here to where our used 4Runners are." And I went, "Excuse me?" And he's like, "Well," and we start walking over to our 4Runners, and I was like, "No, man, I'm good." By that time, we'd already given our contact information, and we left there and went and bought a brand new 4Runner from a different dealership. And I got a call the next day from that dealership saying, "Oh yeah, I know you were here last night, blah blah blah." And I said, "Yeah," and I went and bought from another dealer because your guy told me that I wasn't able to buy his vehicle. That
Didn't you see I signed my name Cody Rockefeller? You should have known better.
Yeah, and Jeffrey Woods says he always dresses down when he buys a new vehicle. It's not a bad play.
Dude, yeah, you guys you sealed the deal for me, dude. I'm not buying a car anytime soon.
Nope, you shouldn't do it.
I'm not.
I'll just give me the money. I'll do it for you.
Hey, isn't that like a profession? Like professional
that's
car
what Tammy was like. I just want to have someone go get me a car and bring it back to the house. Like that's
the Carvana thing or whatever. You go, there's a big vending machine.
Yeah.
They give you a big coin, and it's like an exciting.
I don't know about the big. I don't think they do the big coin thing, but they do.
I saw a big coin on a commercial.
They do deliver. Some friends of ours sold their vehicle to Carvana, and I think somebody else bought one from there. And yeah, it just shows up at the house. And they had some really decent deals on vehicles because there's low overhead, but I couldn't find anything that fit whatever criteria it was she was looking for.
Aren't we supposed to I thought the economy was devastated. It seems like you should be able to get a car.
No, dude. So when COVID
for nothing.
So when COVID was like a month in, right? Like when people were like, "Oh damn, this is pretty serious," like lockdown and everything. Toyota, they were all offering like 0%.
Yeah, for like the duration of the loan. Yeah.
So it was free money. I mean, they were selling truck. I think they had their best truck sales during the last few months, which is crazy.
And then what happened? People just realized, this ain't shit. I don't know.
I know. I think they shut the factories down. So there's the supply is low.
Oh, I see. All right, well, whatever. I already got my truck. I'm not shopping for anything.
No, you're solid for the next 22, 24 years, and then maybe Nissan will come out with a new vehicle.
Do I have to buy a Nissan? Like, what if I wanted something else?
Nah, you're dying on that sword, dude.
Yeah, you're done.
I gotta die on the Nissan sword. Hey, you can't be the tip of the spear unless you bleed on it.
Yeah, exactly. then we're gonna have the same conversation about you that we were just having the conversation about ZR2 Dave in the chat room. What are we gonna call ZR2 Dave now?
Yeah, Bronco Dave.
No,
Bronco Dave.
No, I said. So we're talking about, for those of you who don't know, Dave from Trail Adventures. Find him on YouTube. He does great videos. We've been referring to him as ZR2 Dave for the last year, and he did post that he might be getting a Bronco. I say we just call him Sexy Dave, because then it doesn't matter what he drives.
He's pretty hot.
He's a sexy dude.
Yeah. Sexy Dave it is.
Sexy Dave.
2 for Sexy Dave.
Done.
I was gonna say something else, but
Super Dave died. I mean, so Super Dave is available.
Oh, I forgot about Super Dave.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Super
Sexy
Dave Osborne?
I remember Super Dave Osborne.
Yeah.
Sexy Dave, I'll allow it.
Yeah. Okay. This issue is settled.
it's
Matter is closed.
Let's move on to the next one.
I wonder if Sexy Dave is going to like that, though.
I don't know if he liked ZR2 Dave, so it kind of doesn't matter. He was ZR2 Dave.
It wasn't. It's not up to him. It's not up to him.
We never. You know what's funny?
We never asked him.
We never asked him.
Hey, man, is it
we
cool,
never had
ZR2
that
Dave?
conversation.
Hey, ZR2.
ZR2 Dave, and then people started calling him ZR2 Dave, and then even tonight when he jumped in the chat room, he's all ZR2 Dave checking in. Now I want to see Dave type in "Sexy Dave is here."
Here's the delay.
Sexy Dave, check him out. So that has been my experience with vehicles. I am so done for the next 6 to 9 months, and then
You got at least a year.
well, I mean, so going back to the Bronco. So let's do that, because we talked about the Bronco last week, as did everybody in the world.
Oh my god! So a week later, what are your thoughts on it now that you've seen all these?
I've watched that video probably 3 times, 4 times since. I still think they hit it out of the park. Like, even trying to look at it with a more critical, like the first time we watched it, I was all excited and giddy, right? But getting to, I had Tammy watch it. I've watched it a couple times. Even still, watching it back, there is, I still think they hit it out of the park. However, did you see the stuff online about the Goodyear Wrangler tires?
No.
People are having a shit fit because on the Bronco, it says Wrangler all over the side. They ran Goodyear Wranglers on those commercials, and they're like, you put your biggest competitor on the side of your vehicle in your release announcement.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Dude.
So now there's conversations with Goodyear about the tires having the Wrangler removed on the factory editions. So they'll be the same. They'll maybe call them something different.
It's just like a Ford specific tire.
Yes, the OEM Wranglers.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
that is pretty funny.
Nobody caught. I kind of remember seeing, oh, there's Goodyears on there, but I didn't catch the Wrangler, and I'm wondering if that was a intentional nod. I don't know. I can't imagine, but yeah, that came up.
That's hilarious.
That came up this week.
I didn't even hear about that. That's hilarious.
That came up this week. So watching it back, I still think the vehicle's a knockout. I think that, myself throwing $100 down, as did
everybody,
because it's a fully refundable. It's Trail Recon.
Trail Recon's like, this is what I think about the Ford Bronco.
Yeah, Sexy Dave, Trail Recon, us.
Can he be Sexy Dave Osborne?
Sure. Jeffrey Woods in the chat room says we started an office pool to see how many recalls there will be on the first year.
What's the over under?
I don't know. So I think that they hit it out of the park. I think based on the amount of pre-orders that they received, and like the first edition was sold out by the next morning.
Yeah. Night.
And I think that, did you see that the Sasquatch package offers a solid front axle?
No. It does not.
Look that up for me.
It does not.
Somebody had said that the Sasquatch. No
way, dude.
Yeah. I can't tell you who told me that. Oh, because someone who is tried and true with a different.
Does his name start with sound like Mose?
Blose Blabarado?
Yeah.
That same guy?
Blose Blabarado.
Blose Blabarado? Yeah, check that out, because I believe, and maybe my sources are wrong, but that this guy seems to know his stuff, that the Sasquatch package, there's an option for a solid front axle.
There's nothing that even mentions the solid front axle.
Okay. That would be interesting if that was
front locker, but maybe it's still a bomb that they're going to drop later on. I don't know.
So
I think that would totally defeat the purpose, though,
of the solid front of the IFS.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why it caught me off guard when this person mentioned that they had put their deposit down, and the solid front axle was an option, especially considering they're loyal to other brands. So with that said, what about you, Jose? I know you've been paying attention to it. What's going on?
So yeah, I agree with you that it was an awesome video. Like I look at it, I'm like, it makes me want one. Like I see the truck and I'm like, man, and it ticks all the boxes, right? Like if you're into what we do, like it ticks all the like what else do you need from an off-road truck? Like it has front rear locker, 35-inch tires.
Depending on which one you get, right?
So the option is there.
Yes, yeah. Well, and you know what I find interesting? I was reading an article after I had reserved mine about getting the base model and then adding the Sasquatch package, so you don't get all the fancy stuff. You just get the base Bronco with all of the off-road goodness.
Yeah, so a lot of the off-roaders, like the off-road YouTubers, are planning on ordering the base with the Sasquatch.
Okay.
Because I agree, I don't want all that fancy crap either. Yeah.
Oh, and I wonder how that works, because I reserved the Badlands.
So did I.
I just don't know, at one point we're going to have a conversation with somebody about, what options and what package and all that stuff.
And I don't even know how this reservation works.
Me neither.
I've never reserved a brand new car.
No. I just saw that there was the $100 and it was fully refundable. So I'm trusting that that's the case.
Yeah, it takes 6 to 8 weeks to get your money back.
So I just thought I'd throw it down just because here's what my concern was. And I'm sure that I'm speaking for 80% of the people out there. I'm really compelled about this vehicle, about getting this vehicle. I don't want to find myself in a position where, yes, in 6 to 9 months I want it, but I can't get it for 2 years because all of the pre-orders are gone and they're sold out.
That's why I put in the reservation, just in case, if a very slim chance that I end up buying this Ford, I'll at least have the option to.
Correct. And Matt shaking your head. I don't understand.
You think of what you just said. You just paid $100 for the option of buying a Ford.
I should be getting the $100, right?
Exactly. What they did to you, what Ford did to you, Jose, they did it to you. They got $100 out of you. You deserve whatever happens. You deserve. I'm just saying.
I agree. Even my wife's
when that wrench light comes on, and then the countdown to whatever happens.
5, 4,
pull the
3.
hell over now. Exactly.
Dude, even Letty was like, "I thought we weren't a Ford family anymore."
Yeah.
You told her?
Huh?
You told her?
No, I didn't tell her I put in a rereservation.
Oh, you just did now. Do I have to bleep this out?
She doesn't listen to the show.
Because you sent me that image that you sent. Jose sends me a text message, and he's all, "Shh, don't tell Letty."
But I started selling her. I'm like, look what just came out. Like, what do you think?
So in 3 months, she's gonna be like, you know what? I think we should get a Bronco. And you're gonna be like, honey, I hadn't thought of it. That's a great idea.
You know what? I agree.
I showed Monty the same video, and she goes, "Yeah, it looks cool. Except it's a Ford, right?" Yeah. You're right, honey.
You guys are meant to be.
I love you, honey. You're the best.
I agree, dude. If it was any other make, even Kia, I'd have
the Kia Bronco.
Oh, you couldn't afford it if it was a Kia.
Yeah,
that's
seriously.
True too.
They'd want $84,000 over the asking price.
Kia Hammett. They want an extra $100,000.
Well, they needed to keep the city running, dude.
Just let it go. Just let that city go. You know what? If there was never mind. Don't get me started.
Yeah, we don't need any Hammett content this week.
Come on.
So with that, Jose, you'd start talking about the Bronco, the IFS, the IRS, and you started. We'd had a conversation about some differences, and Jose came in prepared today with actual printouts of
what's this? Yeah, I saw this paper here. What is this?
Dude, Matt came in, moved it out of his way, like didn't even read it. He just moved something in the way of my keyboard. Shoved it aside.
I read it.
He doesn't read any unless you're standing in front of him, talking directly to his face.
If it was a big thing of chili cheese fries from the hat, he would have.
You know what I'm reading right now? $5. $5.
It was said, right? It was said though.
No,
it wasn't.
No.
It was not surprising.
No. Matt and Jose had a side bet going, and
I had it in the bag.
Jose
dude.
lost. Me too. So you're going to talk about IFS and solid front axles. What's the deal?
So I did my research, aka I read a couple articles really quick.
At lunch today.
At lunch, during my lunch.
And then apparently you got to the printer.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt's gone from the video feed. Did you close that out?
It's just frozen.
Then close it and log back in.
The cursor, everything's frozen.
His whole computer's crashed.
No, we don't. We got his voice. We don't need his face.
The feed is crashing too.
Is it? I'm looking good on my side.
Too much Ford talk.
Yeah.
Let's see. Looks like it's still streaming on my side.
Is it?
Yeah.
Mine's frozen as well.
I wonder if something's going on. Well, we'll keep going. We got the
Okay.
audio still going. So
real quick, so yeah, since Bronco dropped the bomb, like they started this war now with the IFS versus solid front axle. This is going to be a thing now. That's why I don't think they'll have that option for solid front axle for the Bronco.
Okay.
But anyways, I just did a real quick pros and cons of IFS versus solid front axle. So for the pros, you want to start pros or cons or
You tell me. This is your segment.
I don't know. So IFS. Start with the pros. Better handling, which is
on or off road.
both.
Okay.
Comfort. I could attest to that.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you've driven solid front axle.
I've done
trucks.
both. Yep.
So have I. The less head tossing, like so, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
When
Some people think that is a good thing. Tossing heads. Or not.
So obviously,
Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb your segment, Jose.
Obviously, it's in the name, but the tires and wheels move independently from each other, and you know that's good when you want to do certain type of off roading, like high speed racing or high speed off road. You get more ground clearance with an IFS.
Yeah, because you don't have the differential in
It's not hanging
in
low.
the front. Now you're still most of the time. Most IFS have solid front axle. I mean, solid rear axle. So you're
Yes.
still limited in the back, but the front end has a little bit higher. Okay.
And yeah, when IFS was coming into the off road scene, like apparently wheel travel was an issue, but today, dude, there's so many companies making like desert race trim, like parts from like Total Chaos and like long arm kits that you can buy for pretty much any truck you want now.
Yeah, Icon makes upgrades for all those solid. I mean,
Toyota and
Yeah.
Tacoma and 4Runner are their bread and butter, and their IFS kits go to stage 10.
Yeah, and
It's just how crazy you want to get with it.
Yeah, and if you watch like any of the Baja, and I'm not talking about like the trophy truck, even though that's a whole nother
No,
conversation.
just look at Ultra 4.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Beyond the Ultra 4s and the trophy trucks, 'cause we're talking several $100,000.
Yeah.
When you're looking at just the class 1600cc buggy Volkswagen, a lot of those have the IFS, and you watch them go through the dunes and some of those rocky sections, and they're especially the ones that are rear wheel drive only, and you just see that front axle. I mean, those front wheels bouncing back and forth. And like to your point, it's not throwing people's head side to side because the axle.
Because what one tire doesn't affect the other.
Yeah, that's one of the big advantages I've found driving IFS vehicles going from the solid axle is that when one of your front tires goes up, the whole vehicle is like at that point already starting to tip.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean those are some of the pros. And you can email me if you find any more if I'm totally wrong on this. And some of the cons. So one of the biggest takeaways is it's more like unlike a solid front axle, there's certain geometry limits that an IFS has. Like it has to be within certain angles and stuff.
And that's why you're limited to the amount of
wheel
lift,
travel, lift. But again, these companies are making kits that when you lift the truck that fix all that geometry, like Icon. Weaker steering component, so solid front axle has
tie rod, the big tie rod,
big tie rods, the pan hard bar, all that stuff. But perfect example. Who were we talking to where they said they were winching a forerunner and the tie rod just snapped. We were talking to someone about that.
Oh yeah, who was that?
That was this weekend. We were talking to somebody about trying
I think it was at
gold.
the mountain. Oh,
Yeah.
Gold Mountain. We were talking about going
that's
up
right.
Gold Mountain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. And they were just
And-
winching the forerunner, and then the tie rod just snapped, just like in Equal Crawl. Remember, he was going over the rocks.
Yeah.
Oh
That's right.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, it just
Pop.
popped.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean,
Well, I'm wondering. So that tie rod. So if you think about the tie rod on a WJ or a ZJ, like a you have the ability to upgrade to a much beefier tie rod. Do you not have the ability to upgrade a tie rod on an IFS vehicle?
you do, but now it's like, where do you want the fuse to be, right? Like, if you keep moving it closer and closer to the diff, like,
Yeah, you're whichever one you upgrade, the next one down is the weak link. I
Right.
get that,
So
but
keep it out where it's easily
you-
accessible.
well, you
I
kind of
guess.
you
If you
kind of
want it-
want it to be.
yeah, if
where
you want it
it's-
to pop, you want it to pop there.
yeah, you don't want your
Okay.
diff blowing up, right? I mean,
That makes sense.
Sometimes if you own a Ford, you don't have a choice. It's too easy, guys.
and
It's easy.
another con is, unlike a solid front axle, the lift kits are going to be a little bit more expensive. An entry level lift kit, not puck spacers, but like
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, and I think that's come down a lot in years.
I agree.
But you're still buying upper control arms.
There's more components.
Yes,
that are,
you're still buying upper control arms and coilovers versus
So like my Land Cruiser, the Stage 3 Icon kit was just 4 shocks
new springs
and 4 springs
and longer shocks. Yeah,
and that was it.
yeah. I remember back in the day lifting XJs. You were like, it was the an add-a-leaf in back. A longer coil and 4 shocks. That was the extent of it. They no extended brake lines, none of that stuff. Like $300 rough country out the door from Pet Boys. Like that was what we were doing.
So I don't know. I mean, from your experience, you've wheeled both pretty extensively now. I mean, what do you agree that IFS? I mean, what is your take?
I 100% agree that the IFS vehicles are more comfortable,
100%.
both on and off the road.
Yes.
I will tell you, like doing some of the stuff I've done in the Ford, I would have never tried to do it in one of the Jeeps. Just from it, like the washboard roads and some of the rutted out stuff that we've done. Like I feel like I can bomb that pretty hard, even in the Tacoma with the way it was set up, compared to the feeling that the front end was going to like bite me in the ass with a solid front axle. With that said, I've never done hardcore rock crawling to the point where I felt like I needed a Dana 44, Dana 60 on the front end, and that made a big difference. There's nothing that we do to this point that can't be done with an IFS vehicle. And when you add the additional comfort and ride quality both on and off the road, for me, it makes perfect sense.
So yeah, so that's one of the cons I have for the solid front axle is that you have the off-road advantage when you have a solid front axle, but it's only like 5 to 10% of the time.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know this, so somebody smarter than me can maybe validate this.
Presley?
Yes, but when you look
Damien?
when you look at the CJ7s and the TJs and the Dana 30 front axle that was in those vehicles, it was common knowledge. If you go anything bigger than a 35, you're probably going to break that front axle.
Right.
So at that point, what is the advantage of the front axle? I don't know that's the same on the JKs, and obviously if you're going with a Dana 44 on like the Rubicon packages or something, that changes the conversation. But from a, how many vehicles are the larger percentage of vehicles that are the sports running the Dana 30s? I don't know that that's much stronger than the IFS of today.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you will have more articulation and stuff when it's coming to the rock crawling, but how many people are actually rock crawling?
That's what I'm saying. Like the rock crawling that I've done has been, you've seen some of the videos, like dishband springs, and I did that in a WJ that had a low range. I mean, it had a quadra track. It wasn't anything overly built, And I'm 100% confident I could do that in the Tacoma or the Ranger right now.
But do you think it would be easier in the Jeep?
No.
You don't think so?
No. Because I don't think so. Going back to our conversation about the front wheels, so let's say you come to an obstacle and your right front tire is going up on a rock. That changes the angle of contact on the left front tire. So you're no longer sitting flat on that side. It starts to rotate at the same angle that the right front tire is going up.
Right.
So as you do that, you're getting to the point where if you have enough articulation and you're not stuffing, that you could feasibly get to a point where you're on the sidewall on the left front tire, where that's the vehicle, that's the tire on the ground that you want the traction on, and you're going to have trouble getting it. Whereas and as that's happening, in my experience, because of the way the axle, the geometry of the axle is, it starts to push the whole vehicle over.
Yeah, depending what springs.
Depending with springs and when you start stuffing, I'm just saying you feel the vehicle push over. I feel like in the IFS vehicles, that pushover point is much farther. Because you've got the left tire is now solidly planted on the ground still.
It might just be in the air.
Well, I'm saying the same scenario.
Okay.
You take the same vehicle down a road that's got a big rock, and on the solid axle, the right front tire comes up, the left front tire starts to rotate, and you're pushing the vehicle over. I feel like in the IFS, as you come up to that obstacle, the right front tire comes up and it pushes the vehicle, but the left front tire stays firmly planted. It doesn't rotate, and there's some resistance to that. And that left front tire is going to have more traction to get you over that obstacle. Now,
in theory,
yeah. I'm not a rock crawling scientist. We know this. I'm just saying from my experience, an IFS or a solid front axle would not stop me from buying a vehicle. Like if the new Bronco came out and it was like, okay, we're going to go solid front axle, that wouldn't have changed my opinion.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like if the Wrangler, if I was in the market for a Wrangler and the next version of Wrangler came out IFS, wouldn't stop me from buying that vehicle.
I think they both have come a long way from the old solid front axles of the past.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys drove the Gladiator, right? I mean,
Yep.
It didn't seem like.
Yeah, but that Gladiator wasn't on stock axles, I don't think. The one we drove, I think, was on...
It was on stock axles, just not stock suspension.
It was stock Rubicon, so it was Dana 44.
Yes.
So it was a Dana 44 with Dana 44 front and rear with 37s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think by now they've mastered the geometry of the solid front axle to where they've gotten it to where it's as comfortable as possible on the road, but it still wouldn't compare to a right off the lot like a Tacoma or 4Runner. Like it's not going to be that comfortable.
And that's not to
or handle as well.
Yeah, and that's not to say that when we talk about comfort level, that's very subjective. And
True.
And if you've only driven solid front axle vehicle, you've only driven big trucks for work, and you drive for example, before I bought the Tacoma, I had been in nothing. Well, I take it back. I had one Tacoma for a short period of time, but prior to that, Jeeps and trucks, solid front axle was just how a car. That's just what a car did, right? Especially when you lift it. The minute you lift it, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep it inside these lines. I'm going to use these lines on the freeway as guides, but there's a good chance I'm going to hit one of them, and that's you just accepted that as fact. And then you go to something like the Ranger that's got with a really, really good suspension on it, and now you've got that lift, and you're like, this is still really I drive that thing every day.
Yeah.
And I love driving that thing every day. Like, it doesn't beat you up.
Exactly.
And but if you don't know the difference and you've only driven solid front axle vehicles, I can't imagine. You would probably think that Gladiator, like, wow, they've really stepped up their game. It's comfortable compared to a CJ7 of the day, you know?
Yeah.
You could have told me that Gladiator was IFS, and I went, yeah, it felt like it.
Yeah.
Felt solid to me.
So yeah, I'll just keep going with the cons of solid front axle. The on and off road handling is not as good as IFS. I mean,
let's clarify that though.
So
it's not as good in higher speed.
I was gonna say in like high speed desert running.
I mean, not even desert running. I would say
just high speed.
Yeah, I would say more than 25 miles an hour on a washboard road.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's more than enough Ultra 4 racers running solid front axle, and they win. But I'm just saying,
but they're also on $50,000 suspension systems, right?
So are the IFS guys. But
yeah,
but I'm sure if you rode one back to back, going 90 down the desert, I think you would say the IFS is more comfortable.
If
it soaks up the bumps better.
If you took a let's say a reasonably equipped Rubicon Gladiator, and then a reasonably equipped
just take a Ford
Tacoma,
Raptor. Just take a Ford Raptor.
Yeah,
they're same price. They're on the same price.
Yeah, there you go. And hit them both on the same trail, like you said, back to back. You will definitely notice a difference.
Yeah, for sure. Another con of the solid front axle is the steering components. I mean, they're right there, so you're going over a rock or a boulder, you can bend your tie rod, your long tie rod tube.
Yep.
You can bend a pan hard bar. I mean, and then the weight of a solid front axle is a huge one.
Yeah.
And these, like my Land Cruiser is like almost 6,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And the thing's heavy, dude.
Is that with you or in it or out of it?
It's 65 with me. I think I have to get those commercial lights.
I think of the Cruiser as like a tank, like one of those World War I tanks, that were huge. They're like mammoth.
Yeah,
but they went over everything because the track was like 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
Like it was just a monstrous thing.
I mean, but you see it, Matt. Like when you see me going over like rock, like you could tell.
I see you rolling.
You could tell it's a heavy truck, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, of course.
Like it's not nimble whatsoever. And I think
no, but it doesn't stop.
No,
it doesn't. But I'm just saying, weight. I mean, once you start adding all this other crap, I mean, look at the payload of a Wrangler. It's super low, dude. Like that payload of a diesel Wrangler, I think it's like 800 pounds.
Yeah,
that's like 3 of us. But but there are pros to having a solid front axle too. They're definitely more. I don't know, definitely, but some components can be definitely more durable than an IFS.
Mm-hmm.
But like you were saying, a Dana 30 with 35, is it as fragile as an IFS?
But I would think that the general consensus in the off-road world is that today's solid front axle is more durable.
I agree. You definitely have the rock crawling advantage when you're solid front axle. Just in general, you have stronger axle components because there's less moving parts to it. Way easier to lift your truck if it's equipped with a solid front axle. You just change the springs out.
Yep.
Less maintenance. With IFS, you have to those boots rip.
Yeah.
The CV boot, they can rip easy. Wheel bearings. You name it. And typically with a solid front axle, you have more customization options. So you can swap out the entire axle if you want on a Jeep and put Dana 60s or Dana 80s.
Yeah. And you can leave the housing and just upgrade the axle shafts to chrome ollie.
You can do that on IFS too, but
I guess
I think it's more limited than because with the Jeep, you can throw 1 tons into there, no problem.
Casey threw JK Dana 44s off of a JK underneath his ZJ, just cut the perches off and welded them up. I mean, you can do that all day long.
Right, but if you try to do that, like if you try to solid front axle your Tacoma, I mean, dude, there's a lot of geometry that you're gonna have, a lot of engineering you're gonna have to figure out. Maybe not now because a lot of people have done it, but imagine trying to be the first guy to put a solid front axle.
Yeah, well, and there's companies like Otwell.
That's
so
right.
go back a handful of episodes to when we interviewed Otwell Fabrication. They've made a living at doing that. They know that people want to do it and they can, and have their vehicles just freaking phenomenal. So end of the day.
But at the end of the day, I think it really depends on what you're going to be doing, and I guess you have to choose are you a dedicated rock crawler? Do you need the solid front axle?
I almost feel like even though we've all agreed that the Bronco is the gauntlet, IFS versus a solid front axle, I almost feel like for most consumers, that is so far down the list that it's a non-factor for most consumers. Like, I want a truck, I want it to be this, I want boom, 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 boom. They may or may not even realize what's underneath the front end.
So at that point, like if you're really going to do serious rock crawling, are you going to do that in your everyday driver?
Yeah.
No, then go buy a Wrangler, whatever. stay with the solid.
Build a 2-buggy.
Yeah, exactly. But if this is something you want to like us, you're going to 4-wheel every day. Yeah, the IFS is nice because you're driving it every day. And then I haven't done any heavy rock crawling yet, but it seems like it'd be an advantage most of the time because I like hauling ass across the desert.
Yeah.
So it kind of suits what I want to do.
One con for IFS that I have not personally experienced, but I was talking to someone at SEMA about it, that the IFS requires front end alignment more often after wheeling. It's much easier for the alignment to get off on an IFS.
Yeah, because I think on one of the trips, you hit something really hard or something. You're like, dude, I think I just fixed my alignment.
Yeah, it was the Tacoma.
every time. Yeah, it's like.
It was the Tacoma. It had a pool. It constantly had a pool. And then we went off-roading and boom, I hit something. I'm like, hey, pool's gone.
Every time we get back on the road, we air up. It's like, okay, no, my alignment's still good.
Yeah.
I still go straight.
Yeah, but I was talking to a guy at SEMA about he wanted a solid front axle swap his Tacoma, and he was saying for that specific reason but he was way more aggressive in the off-roading, so maybe there are components. I mean there are times when that's a problem, but it hasn't been a problem for us.
And to be honest, do you think the newest gen, like the younger crowd, when they go out, do you even think they even know there's another option besides the IFS? Like, because most trucks now are all IFS.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the Wrangler's the holdout.
That's the last one,
right? I mean, I don't even think the full size,
unless you're buying a heavy duty truck.
Yeah, like HD trucks.
Yeah.
But Ram. But those aren't. But you're not. I'm not talking about. You're not really off-roading those.
Okay. No. I mean, what are they? The Power Wagon? They still make the Power Wagon?
Yeah, that's a solid front axle.
And I guess you're right.
But it's a 2500. It's not a.
Yeah, that's an HD. Is the 1500 the Ram 1500 solid axle in front?
No, it's the Rebel. It's the IFS.
Yeah, I think most vehicles,
most off-road vehicles are all IFS.
Tacoma, 4Runner, Ranger, Bronco, Frontier, Xterra,
Titan, Tundra.
I mean,
and they're all
everything that's been made in the last 10 years.
Raptor, everything's IFS.
Yeah, so I think the Wrangler is one of the few holdouts.
It's the only option if you want a new 4x4 solid front. Even the Mercedes G-Wagon was solid front axle. I mean, that thing was a triple lock. It's triple locked from the factory.
Land Rover is all.
It's all Land Rover is all independent. Yeah. Every corner, but even now the G-Wagon, even they switched to IFS.
Yeah, well, because I think most of these companies, most of these vehicles, know that 90% of the use of the vehicle is on road.
Probably higher than that, dude. Like the new Land Rover Defender, it's all IFS, IRS, airbag. Any Land Rovers, they're like on that. They're on that hill. They're dying on that hill now.
So there's as of June 30th, 2018, it said, as of 2017, only 2 production SUVs in the United States are built with a solid axle setup from the manufacturer, the Jeep Wrangler and the Mercedes G-Wagon, G-Class. But you said the Mercedes.
Yeah, I think 19 or 20, they switched to the IFS.
So the only solid front axle vehicle you can buy in off-road,
brand new,
is the Wrangler. And I would, again, I may be wrong, but I don't think that's the delineating factor in whether or not someone's going to buy that vehicle. They're buying the Jeep because they want the Jeep. They want the Wrangler. If that Wrangler, for the majority of people, because I know there are going to be people that listen to this and go, bullshit, I'm a solid front axle. That's what makes a Jeep, right? And I get that. But I'm saying for most of the people that bought a JK, let's go there. If the JK was the first Jeep you ever purchased, if that JK was solid front axle or IFS, it probably wouldn't have changed your opinion.
I've heard not rumors, but I've heard about Jeep has been contemplating the IFS for a while.
For a long time.
I don't think they'll do it though, because I think that's the one thing that's the
differentiator for them. Now that Broncos come out, if they switch to IFS, that's going to be a tough sell.
Yeah, because they're like, well, you guys don't even hold to your values. I'm just going to buy a Bronco.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I mean, I think if you're on the in the market for a Jeep or anything else, I think it just really depends on what you want to do off road.
Yeah.
If you want it to be the most off road capable rock crawler from the factory, I think the Wrangler wins hands down.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that.
But if you want it to be like a Desert Runner Scalpel, Ford Raptor would probably be the king, right?
Yeah,
like
and
You just said it, Desert Runner.
yeah, and, but if
Nissan.
you want
Frontier Desert Runner.
if you want an all around capable vehicle that's still comfortable enough to put the family in, you've got a whole slew. You've got so many. Yeah. I mean, you can take your Ranger to work one day and do Gold Mountain the next day, right? I mean, you can do that in the Frontier and the Tacoma and in a lot of those vehicles. So I don't. Again, I'm at a point where whatever the next vehicle is, whether it's solid front axle or IFS, won't be a consideration for me.
I'm not even considering that myself as well. Like we don't rock crawl.
No, not at all.
Sometimes my kids pick up rocks and they throw them.
Sometimes I pick up rocks and then in my flower bed.
That's about it. That's it.
So I mean, like I said, this was a quick.
Well, that's good. It's a good informative info. We're going to try to do more segments like that and try to, have some good topics to talk about. And thanks to Mark for joining us in the conversation. And thanks to those of you that were in the live feed. I appreciate it. And we're going to call it a night. It's been a couple hours, and we will talk to you guys next week.